Maxx Wolff. He's the Chief Economist of Manhattan Venture Capitals, here to talk to us a little bit more about whistleblowing and some of the regulation. Let's start with some of those non-disclosure agreements. What exactly do they stipulate?
So thanks for having me. And I think the sad truth is that a lot of non-disclosure agreements nudge or intimidate some employees into a direction exactly opposite from the clear intent of both the regulations and the general public in the aftermath of the Great Recession. And that direction is, hey, come to us first, don't go outside the firm. And if you do go outside the firm, and if you do go to a regulatory body, know that you're giving up some of the protections and payments that you're working at the firm to get. And so you're kind of sending both an explicit or implicit message, keep it in the family, and that's what the reg says you shouldn't be doing.
Okay, but let's just say you do sign a non-disclosure agreement and you do go to the feds before you go to upper management. Under the law, would you be protected by the government?
So it looks like the government is very interested in protecting you, particularly most recently. So that's a newer thing, but definitely some recent case law finding in that direction says, hey, if you go to the government first, you get these whistleblower protections. However, if you've signed an employment agreement and that's what you're spending 60 hours a week working on, and that's what's going to support your family, and that's where you're going to build your career, and that agreement says, hey, maybe you shouldn't go to the government first, then you have two different powerful authorities, both with overarching influence in your life, telling you exactly and diametrically opposed things, and that's stressful, difficult, and often maybe not the best situation.
Okay, because the majority of the people polled in this report by University of Notre Dame said that they would report wrongdoing if they were guaranteed protection, compensation, and anonymity, yet we're not seeing that many people come forward. And you think, is it because, do they get blacklisted from the industry? What happens to whistleblowers?
So we have seen a whole lot more folks come forward. And the truth is, if you really want to come forward and you're really upset, you should probably do it even if there is some risk to you, right? So just being completely fair there. That being said, however, we probably would see more people if it wasn't the following. There's de jure and de facto, right? And de jure, you're protected and encouraged to tell everything. But de facto, nobody wants to hire somebody who left their last job under a cloud of potentially unfair accusation. Because let's remember, too, not all accusations are based in fact.
Right, so the compensation has to be substantial to overcome the loss of a career, essentially.
And reputation and friends. And you spend 55 hours somewhere and 10 years to get to a senior position. It's literally your life that you're potentially giving up.
Okay, so we're seeing that the wrongdoing is widespread. What would you say it's mainly focused on? I mean, is it insider trading or something else?
A lot of public attention to insider trading. There's certainly been some high-profile cases, and that's really deleterious. So everyone in the market, all of us who work in this business, we're better off when anyone doing that is arrested and gets severe penalty, because the truth is all financial markets are faith-based. And if the world or the public loses faith in the integrity of the market, it's bad for all participants who are doing what they're supposed to be doing. That being said, though, look, it's pretty clear that there are a lot more rules about risk-taking than there used to be, but bigger risks yield bigger rewards. It's a shoot-for-the-fences business, right? And the bottom line is very few people are in this business for the love of the game. They're mostly in there for the returns.
To make the bucks.
Yeah, and it's a culture, too.
All right, well, this argument, though, that regulation since the financial crisis is so extreme and that Fed policy is such that interest rates are so low that it's so difficult for financial firms to make money now that they almost have to find ways to skirt the laws. Is that a valid argument?
No, I think that's a little bit pushing it. The truth is there's always what they call regulation arbitrage. So there's always a game of push the envelope, find where the mines are in the minefield by running around in the minefield. It's an adventure culture, right, for sure. And that does push the envelope. It has been true that the returns on low interest returns on safe investments are terrible. That's forcing people to take more risk. That being said, taking risk is something that should be done with a lot of sobriety and a lot of hesitation. And there's lots of money being made in this business by people who aren't skirting, breaking, or stretching the law. But it does attract adventurous people, and it does reward big risks. And that combination means that there will always be outside risks, and there'll always be people kind of pushing the envelope, just like in pretty much every other industry.
Okay, Max, do you think one of the problems, though, one of the reasons that we're not seeing really a change on Wall Street is because we're not seeing any criminal charges or very few criminal charges against individuals? So, yes, they have to pay fines, but it's usually the bank, not individuals. So they're sort of absconded from any real responsibility. Is that,
yeah, I mean, the public certainly wants to see some more severe punishment. It makes a certain sense. I think we are seeing some change, but I think it takes a long time. It took a while to get us into this mess. It'll take us a while to get out. You probably need a new generation of leadership, quite frankly.